Hey yo, what's good, y'all? I'm Malcolm McFadden, creator of 615 Comics, and you're watching another episode of the Yo a Nerd podcast. And this time it's not just me talking into a camera this time. I have a special guest with me today. Everybody give it up for Gary Jones.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, no problem, bro. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Anything for the homie.
Exactly. So we've done a couple interviews and talked to each other before, and we're pretty familiar with each other. But for the people who may not know who you are, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Gary Jones. I am founder and creator of Divergent Comics. My funny story, I guess, is I've been a nerd all my life, but I've only started reading comics for like the last 12-ish years. So I'm still relatively new to reading comics, but always been a nerd. Um, Yeah, man, I'm just happy to be here. Huge fan of what you do with 615 Comics. I think I've been a fan of your stuff since you dropped, and so it's just cool to kind of see how you've grown as a content creator and as a comic book creator.
Hey, I can say the same about you too, bro. I've seen you grow, and especially with putting out your latest Kickstarter, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I've actually seen you grow and continue on your path, and I think that's dope too, bro. We're
I
fans of each
appreciate it.
other.
Yeah, we have to be in this space, honestly.
Yes, definitely. So, you said you just started reading comics about 12 years ago. Do you remember what your first comic was?
Oh yeah, my very first comic I ever read was actually a graphic novel. The volume one of Static New 52. And every
Okay.
time I say that, people kind of laugh because New 52 has a bad rap for
Yes.
being relatively bad, which it is. New 52 was not good. But I thought Static New 52 was solid. It was only like an 8 issue run, which kind of sucked, but
Hmm.
I thought Static New 52 was solid. I wish I had like got into it when it was first dropping, so like we could have got more of that story arc. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, see, I don't agree with the 52 new 52 suck. I know some of it definitely sucked, but there were some great
there's
parts
some really
of
good
new
stuff.
52.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I loved it. And I know even the static new 52 gets a bad rap, but for me, I always saw it like it wasn't it definitely wasn't static that we know and love. It was more so
mhm.
it seemed like if it was static from like a different universe, if you get what
Right,
I'm saying.
right,
So I always thought that series was a lot better than people gave it credit for. Like I got all the
absolutely agree.
complaints, but it definitely was better than what people gave it credit for.
Oh, absolutely agree. I feel like New 52, or I feel like in general, DC is one of those like companies where most fans either just absolutely love everything that they do or they absolutely hate it. It's not like we're
Mhm.
Marvel. Like with Marvel, most Marvel fans are like, I like this, I like that. Like they'll be like, oh, I hate the Amazing Spider-Man run, but the Ultimate Spider-Man run, that's where it's at. It's
Right.
like Marvel fans, they can sit in the middle, but like DC fans is always one or the other.
Exactly. Exactly. It's you either one end of the extreme or the other end of the extreme. And so
Exactly.
I it's very weird with DC fans.
Very.
But how did you jumping into comics? How did that get you to how did that flow into you becoming a comic book creator?
So I love telling this story because I think most people, when they hear I've been a comic book creator for what, the last 5 years now, they tend to think, oh, he grew up loving comics and then he just eventually like decided to make his own. I was like, not really. Comics was actually the last thing on my mind. And
Right.
actually, growing up, I didn't even want to be a writer. I didn't even like writing.
Mm,
But um, I loved reading growing up. So I guess it kind of like it makes sense.
right.
But it wasn't until 2018 when my cousin, he had talked about doing a video game, and he had a whole idea planned out for it. And I was like, okay, that's dope. I wasn't going to do a video game. Like, that's not something I was interested in, but I was going to show him some support. Eventually, it turned into him deciding, you know what? Instead of me turn this into a video game, let me make this a comic book first,
Mm.
and then kind of go from there to turn it into a video game. I was like, yo, that sounds dope. And that's when the light clicked in my head. What if I made a comic book? So 2018, I decided, I think I want to make a comic book. And that actually was the very first story I started working on is the one that's currently in Kickstarter, Nighthawk. And for about 3 years, from 2018 to 2021, I was working on building out the comics universe of Divergent Comics. And then in 2021, I finally decided Divergent Comics was going to be a thing. And in 2022 is when I actually released the very first comic under Divergent Comics called Brontide.
Okay. So that is kind of similar to my story too, whereas the first comic I started writing wasn't the first one I released. So why was Nighthawk not the first comic you released, but the first one you wrote?
So, as you know, when you write these stories, like each comic is it's kind of like your baby, and you want to protect it as much as possible, and you want it to come out the right way. But when I was working on the stories, the timeline, the way everything works, and I'm actually working on trying to get a physical timeline created so people can see it. Nighthawk's story is first. The reason why it didn't come out first is because I didn't have the right artist for it. And I couldn't find the art that would perfectly capture what Nighthawk is supposed to be. And it wasn't until late 2024, it was like December 2024, I found an artist who was like, yeah, like, here's some artwork. And I sent him a couple of panels and I was like, let me see what this looks like. And he showed me, he was like, well, this isn't what I would actually draw specifically for this story, but this is kind of like how it would look. And I looked at it, I was like, I can get behind this. Like, this is legit solid. So finally ended up working with him. His name is Daniel, and he got the work done, and the story, I feel, perfectly captures the essence of what I was trying to go for when I was writing the story of Nighthawk.
That's good. We know that finding the perfect artist is it's hard. It's definitely hard.
That's the hardest part. Like writing the story, that's easy.
Right.
Editing the story, that's still easy. Finding a good editor, that's easy. You finding the right artist, to me, that's the hardest part, because it's like you have to find someone that understands art in a way that you can't perfectly envision. So they have to be much more of a visionary than you are. Right. And that's what makes it different. So it worked this time with Nighthawk.
Yeah, because it doesn't always work out. So what are some of the things, like when you are, like you said, you were looking for the perfect artist, what were some of the things, like you said some of them, but what were some more things that you were looking at from the artist? Maybe it's not even just their artwork, maybe it's the relationship. What are some things that you were looking for in an artist when working with them?
So I've been having to do a lot of trial and error. When I first started, my very first comic I was going to release was Charger. And the art for that and the artist I was working with just didn't come out the way I fully expected it. But also the story I had at the time just wasn't fully polished enough. So a lot of what I look for is not only just like being able to tell whether or not the story comes to life from what they're drawing, but it's also like, can they add something to what I had written that I didn't envision? So there's an emotion, I guess, is what I'm looking for in the artwork, as well as one of the main things I've been looking for now is whether or not an artist can work on a decent timeline. Like I feel like I'm a relatively easy person to work with. Like I try to plan my stories and my releases out months up to a year in advance. So if I say, hey, I'm not rushing you on this, but here's the story. Let's see if we can get this done. And my thing is, if it takes longer than the year that I've given you to get me that story done, it's like, it's hard for me to say I can work with you. So that's
Right.
something else that I look for. Is like, okay, I don't need you to be like breaking your back trying to get stuff done super quickly, but can you at least show that you have a good work ethic to where we can
Mhm.
work together and get stuff done, even if it's not like super quick, but like if it takes almost a year and a half for you to finish, like I don't know, like I can't work with that. So that's to me, that's the main thing, especially over the last 5 years that I've noticed. Like, yeah, this is something that's important. Like, I have to focus on having someone that can truly deliver in a timely manner without me having to put pressure on them to get work done.
And that, bro, that is tough. Like, I've been lucky to work with some dope artists who are good at working on like a deadline and time frame, but
Mhm.
that can be tough because everybody got schedules, everybody got
Yeah.
different stuff, and especially if it's like a indie artist, they probably got to take on other jobs too to make more money. So that is definitely tough. But once you get it locked in, it works. It
Mhm.
works. So when you finally got like your artist like locked in, how was that feeling when you started really getting those pages of Nighthawk back?
Man, so I think the feeling I had when those first two pages came back, because those first two pages really set the tone for the
Mhm.
story. I legit was just like jaw to the floor. I was like, okay, like this is what I've been waiting for.
Right.
Because the way that I started this story, it's not super emotional, but it's just like it has a mystery feel to it.
Mm.
And the art, I feel like, kind of encapsulates that because I throw you right into the middle of what's happening. And so kind of going from the beginning of that, seeing how this mystery kind of unfolds, this mysterious figure lurking in the background, kind of pushing things along, um, and seeing that actually designed and put on page, it was fulfilling for one, and then definitely just made my jaw drop because it just kind of it fit perfectly.
Okay. Okay. Well, we've been talking about Nighthawk. Let's actually get into the Kickstarter that you got going for Nighthawk. So if you can tell me, first off, let's talk about the story of Nighthawk, and while you tell me about the story, I'll bring up your Kickstarter.
Cool. Yeah. So Nighthawk is a crime thriller, vigilante type story. It follows the private investigator Jerry Johnson and his fraternal twin sister Kayla Johnson as they work together to stop this human trafficking ring in the city of Lakeland.
Mhm.
Um, Try not to do too much or dive too much into detail, but essentially, there's a case that opens up the story that Jerry has to try to solve that ties into the human trafficking
Mm.
storyline. And you get to see from the very beginning how invested Jerry gets with his cases when he takes them on. Um, the main thing that I want people to get from the story, though, is that Jerry is Nighthawk first and Jerry second.
Haha.
Yeah.
I like
So,
that.
so he takes on these cases and he does these things so he can investigate as Nighthawk. And then he
Mm.
uses his connections in the police department. Because if you go to the top or closer up towards the top of that page, you see him hugging the man right there. That's the police captain. So he has connections in the police department, and he uses those connections as Jerry to be the private investigator that people need. But he does all his investigations for the most part as Nighthawk. and he stops crimes as Nighthawk. So I took a lot of inspiration from how, and a lot of people didn't like this, but the Nightwing Rebirth story, where they had uh, Dick Grayson go into Rick Grayson and be the detective and all that. People didn't like it. I get it, but I had to take some liberties on that one. So
You like a good couple stories that people hate. I love it.
yeah, yeah.
But but when I hear you talk about that, I get where you were going with the Nightwing, but I really get like Superman, like Clark Kent, like
Mm,
how he's Clark Kent kind of like so he can investigate things and go dangerous places and people won't think twice about it. And then but he can help as Superman. So
yeah,
I think it feels like it also can go with Batman too, where
true.
kind of
Yeah.
how he's more so always Batman and not really Bruce Wayne. But I feel so more like a Clark Kent because he really uses his investigative stuff to actually go out there and help him be Superman. So I get that a lot.
Oh, I like that actually. I never even thought about that. But it's funny because I've read a lot of Superman over the last couple of years as I was developing this story. So it makes sense that that was kind of a subtle, unknowing influence in the story.
Yeah, definitely. I can. Yeah, sometimes like we don't always know it, but subconsciously, sometimes
Yep,
the stories that we read and dive into come out in our writing.
that's true. Yeah.
But also one thing I really wanted to talk to you about was the look of the comic. Like so
Hmm.
if you see if these pages right here, especially with the lettering and everything, it kind of talks to like more of a manga feel.
Yeah.
Um can you go into that and what you wanted this comic to look like and why did you want to go with more of a manga feel?
Yeah. So the artist that I decided to go with, he does more of that manga anime style, the
Mm-hmm.
seinen style of anime manga. And honestly, I didn't even think that that's what I would have gone with for Nighthawk because it didn't feel like something I would have dove into. Like prior to actually even starting this artwork, I hadn't even watched or read much anime or read much manga outside of like save a couple of like a handful. Like I started reading Solo Leveling mid 2025. I read a little bit of Alita Battle Angel uh, back in 2024. Other than that, I've watched like maybe 15 or 20 anime in the last 5 years. I've been actually watching anime. So it's like I don't really have a huge influence in that aspect. It was just, it kind of worked out perfectly finding the artist who is a big fan of that style of artwork and kind of tailored his style towards it. And I felt like it worked perfectly, especially once we start getting closer to the actual action and fighting that happens later in the book.
Mm. Okay, that's what I like to hear. That is, I definitely like the style. So I like how one thing about mangas I don't like is that they're always black and white. Well, sometimes they're always black and white, but
Right.
I love the fact I still like the art style. I just always wish it would had like a little color to it.
Yeah.
So that's why I really was really digging this story because it kind of gives me what I want as like a comic book fan and a manga fan in like
Yep.
in the middle. So it kind of gives me exactly what I want. Were you trying to with this comic? Are you thinking about trying to reach both sections like comic fans and manga fans?
Honestly, I didn't even think about that, but now that you say it, I might.
Mm.
I might have to stay in this lane of making Nighthawk more of the anime style and kind of see if I can reach those manga fans because that actually isn't a bad idea.
No, it's yeah. I think you definitely could because you know a lot of there's a lot of crossover between comics and manga, a lot of fan crossover. You know, so I think you
Mhm.
definitely could. You know, talk to both of those. You know, get
That's
your little
true.
hand
Yeah.
in both of them, which actually would be dope. So one thing I really wanted to talk to you about, especially having you on, is just talking about Kickstarter as a whole. You feel
Mhm.
me? So you have a Kickstarter out right now, and it's also successful. So congratulations on that, bruh.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, congrats on that. So I wanted to talk to you about like going into the making and the setting up of a Kickstarter. So could you go into that a little bit? Like this isn't your first Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, this is technically my third. Well, technically my fourth, but that first one I don't really count just because I still was really green behind the ears on that one.
So, so what is something that you've learned throughout making these Kickstarters? Like you said, your first one you were a little wet behind the ears. You know,
Yeah.
breath smelled like Similac. So, like, so what were some of the what were some things you learned like to help you to get this successful Kickstarter?
One is set realistic goals.
Mm,
When the very first Kickstarter I did, I set a goal of like 1,000 or something. I'm just like, my first Kickstarter, people barely know me. Why should I or why would I get $1,000 on my first Kickstarter? So went back to the drawing board, and my second Kickstarter I did, which was for the book Lionheart, I think I set that one closer to like 800 or 900, but still wasn't realistic because again, this is my second book, and or technically, yeah, my second book at the time. And that time I still was relatively new.
mm-hmm.
So setting a realistic goals is always first. For me, you can print 30, 40 books through Comics Wellspring for like about $100. So at minimum, $100 should be a goal. And then if you want to add in shipping, which if you use Easy Ship,
Mm-hmm.
you
That's what I
can
use.
you can get good shipping for like $5, $6. So if
It
you
used to be. It used to be. Now it went up. It used to be really like $4, $5. Now it's up to like $6, $7 now.
yeah, and sometimes you might even have to do 8 or 9 depending on how
Right.
far you're going. So let's go on the high end and say you're shipping out 30 books for about $9 each. You're looking at what, another $250.
Mm-hmm.
So at minimum, if you just do a Kickstarter and you have, let's say, 4 or 5 tiers, and it's all just about your books, you're looking at, and assuming you get a reasonable amount of people, about 30 people, you're looking at shipping out about 30 books. So what, $400 max? So at minimum, you should look at about $500 for your goal, just because you want to be able to have something set to the side so you can do more in the future. So outside of realistic goals, the other thing I would recommend, make your Kickstarter fun. Like one of the things I did with the last 2 Kickstarters, which was Charger and Nighthawk, is I added fun stuff to it. Like the Charger Kickstarter, I added one of my friends, he made a coloring book. I was like, all right, bet. Let's add you in here. And so I added his book into the highest tier possible. And we set up some type of arrangement where he gets a portion of the sales or whatever. And it worked out. Like, I think like 10 or 15 people got that tier just for that coloring book. Like things like that. Find something fun to add to it. And then also just know how to network. The hardest thing for me, like, it's easier for me to talk to someone and say, hey, can you come on my podcast, than it is to be like, hey, can I come on your podcast so I can promote my book?
I get it. I definitely get that.
So it's just like, you got to network yourself in a way. So what I've had to learn how to do is go on social media and at least once a day, just be like, here's my book.
Right.
And even if I'm sharing, so like I try to share a couple of pages from the book that don't give away anything. It's just, here's some art from the book. If you like it, the link is down below. Also, knowing how algorithms work is really helpful. Because if you're on Facebook and Facebook and Threads, and you're posting your links in your main post, your post is not getting any reach. You need to post your links in the comments underneath the post. I found that gives you the most reach possible. Like people will see the post more if you do that rather than if you put it in the post. Because what happens is Threads And Facebook, they suppress those type of posts that lead to external links. Now, Instagram is smart. They don't let you put links in the post anyway, so it doesn't
Right.
matter. But the way around all of that, Facebook and Instagram, you have stories. Post a link in the stories. Your stories get more views than your post will ever will. So yeah, those are the main things I noticed. Like, be better at networking, set realistic goals, and know how to post on social media so that your posts get reach.
Okay. So what is one of the going into Kickstarter? We all have like our expectations and stuff like that. What is one of the hardest things about Kickstarter that you weren't expecting at all?
Oh, so when I was first doing the Kickstarter for Charger, I had done two Kickstarters prior. The very first Charger Kickstarter, which I canceled midway because I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I don't know what I'm doing. And then the Lionheart Kickstarter, which I got so close to having fully funded. I was like, I think $100 or $200 short. But one thing I didn't realize or didn't think of was how draining it is the first time, because you have to do so much interacting with people just to get them to look at your Kickstarter. And that doesn't even guarantee that you're going to get sales or
Right.
get people to back it. But for Nighthawk, I didn't realize how much marketing I'm going to have to pay for. So with Lionheart, I didn't pay for as much marketing. Or not Lionheart, with Charge, I didn't pay for as much marketing. I was able to hit goal and exceed it pretty significantly without doing that. But for Nighthawk, I was like, okay, I need to go bigger. I need to do more. So if you want to go bigger, you have to reach more people. And the only way you can reach more people, you have to unfortunately pay for ads.
Right.
So I think I spent like $50 for ads on TikTok. And so far, I think I've spent like $60 on ads on Meta in general. So the money aspect is one that I didn't really realize how much is going to come out of just to get backing and support. So that's the
Yeah,
big one.
that's definitely one. People don't really think about that. Like sometimes to really help and push your projects, like doing ads on Facebook and Meta. Like that's the one thing I would do when I first started out to really get my stuff seen. I would just take out ads. I would find like a picture, one picture that people like really liked, a lot of people liked, and I would try to boost that
Yep.
on Meta to get more looks. And people don't think about that. People don't think about maybe paying somebody to, hey, say mention your book or something like that, or using the ads, because the ads help, bro. The ads,
Yeah.
I found other creators on ads. I've seen ads by creators that I already follow, but I seen the fact that it was like an ad and posted. But that's definitely one way that can help you boost your Kickstarters. Do you with doing the ads, do you think they help you?
It definitely helped. So when I was doing the pre-launch for Nighthawk, I was struggling at first. It was rough. I wanted to get to about 30 pre-launch followers before I launched the campaign. Most people say you need to get to about 50. I'm like, I'm cool with 30. Like, I'm not trying to break the bank. I'm not trying to get thousands of dollars. I just need enough to hit my 700 to 800 goal and then kind of keep it moving. So for me, paying to get the ads on TikTok and in Meta, I definitely say would really help, because I was for like 2 weeks straight sitting at about 15 to 16 pre-launch page followers. And I was like posting literally 2-3 times a day about the campaign and talking to different people about it, and just wouldn't budge. Paid for the ads, got a couple people on Threads, to a couple of bigger accounts on Threads to share the campaign. And over the span of a weekend, went from like 15 followers to 30. And so, yeah.
Yeah, double.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's yeah. I asked that question because I've seen sometimes where people say that their ads aren't really working, that they don't see help in the ads. Me personally, I do. When I
Mhm.
did ads, like I told you, I saw it helping. So that's why I definitely wanted to ask you and then see if they're helping you, because I do see people that say like I'm paying for these ads and they're not really working, or I'm not really getting seen. So I definitely want to get your perspective on that.
I think it also depends on like how or what you're aiming for with the ads. Because I've seen your ads on my Facebook plenty of times, and it's like,
Right.
oh, okay, well, it's for a Kickstarter that I've already been supported, so there's no reason for me to click on it. But it's like, what are these people like? What are you trying to get from with your ad? Because if you pay for your ad and you're just selecting, oh, I just want to get more views or get more clicks on my website, you're only going to get so much out of that.
Mhm.
So I found that you actually have to sometimes change what your goal is for your ad to get better results.
Could you elaborate more on that for people who may not know? Like, I understand what you're saying, but people may not know who haven't
Yeah,
done ads before. Can you elaborate more on that?
yeah. So on all social media platforms, when you pay for an ad, they give you like four options to choose from.
Hmm.
You can choose for either what is it, getting more profile views,
Hmm.
getting more views on your website, link leads, and I can't remember what the fourth one is, but
Yeah, I know the ones I always look at is more profile views and website, like the link that you have, or
yes.
website or the links. Those are I don't remember a fourth. If there is a fourth one, I'd never use it.
I never use that one either. That's why I don't remember it. But yeah, those are the two that I use. I use the website and then the link leads, because those are two that's going to actually drive people to your to whatever you're trying to promote and get you the
Hmm.
most benefit from it. Like I've even gotten some help in TikTok. Like it didn't lead to a lot of sales, or I guess backers from TikTok, but it led to at least quite a bit of people supporting and backing, or saving the Kickstarter to their favorites and stuff, and getting some pre-launch backers.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think also like you said, the most that you normally do is like the profile view. I mean not profile views, but the link views.
Yeah.
Also profile views. I did that like when I first started, before I had a Kickstarter or website or anything. I
Mhm.
did that just so people would see my profile and then follow me. So then once I am doing something, that I can push them to that.
That
So
makes
that
sense.
also helps too. So definitely thanks for that, because that's one thing that people don't know a lot about is like the
Mhm.
ads and how you can do the ads, and also you can customize the ads, or you can let
Yeah.
Instagram do it for you. I've done better with letting Instagram do it for me, because I think I customized it wrong. So when I let Instagram just do it for me and find my audience, it I normally get more. I don't know if
Same.
you okay,
Yeah,
cool,
I do the
cool,
same
cool.
thing because I did for Lionheart. I did an ad, and it was when I was doing the Kickstarter for it. I created a trailer, and it was a dope trailer. Like people actually liked it, and people looked at it. But when I tried to customize like the audience and everything, like the it just did not go the way I thought it would go. It
Right.
actually didn't get the amount of views I was hoping for. So yeah.
Yeah. So definitely people don't customize yourself. Let Instagram do it.
And I think part of that is just because like the customizations that they give you, they allow you to choose like gender, they allow you to choose
Hmm.
age and region and all that stuff. And I kept the region like global, but I changed the age to closer to like our age. I kept it like higher up, to like the 25 to 45-ish range.
Hmm.
And I think there's a lot more people that are like outside of that bracket
Right.
that it would reach if I had kept the age open, and that's what I started doing, and so that's changed it too.
Yeah. So that's definitely one thing to think about.
Hmm.
But I want to bring this back to your Kickstarter, which I'm going to bring it back up. I want to talk to you about structure of the Kickstarter, like what you put on your Kickstarter page. And so, can you talk to me as I bring this up real quick? Can you talk to me about what your thought process was with going up and setting the Kickstarter? What pictures you wanted to show, what you didn't want to show? Like, could you talk to me about your thought process? And I'm actually bring your Kickstarter back up.
Yeah. So um, this was what? So this was after I did the Kickstarter for the Charger the first time. I took a class from Godhood Comics, and he talked about how to be a comicpreneur, and he talked about
Mm-hmm.
how to start a Kickstarter and how to structure it and things like that. And one of the things I took from it was you want to have a visually pleasing Kickstarter. And so for me, I wanted to start. I always want to put the logo on there because one, I really love this logo. I got one of my sister's friends to actually design this, and it just spoke to me when she did it. I was like, oh yeah, this is great. And then I want people to get to know like the characters to some degree. So I always start with like character designs. And then from there, it's like, okay, let's talk about the story. Let's talk about what's actually going to potentially happen in here. And let me show you some already finished images and then some images that are finished but don't have the lettering on it. And it's just to kind of, it's almost like a trailer type things. I want it to feel kind of cinematic.
Mm.
So that's always my goal. Is like I want people to feel immersed when they go to this Kickstarter page and they look at it and like, oh yeah, I want to get this.
Okay. And then so what is also your thought process behind like the messages here, like what you're telling your backers or future backers? What are some of the messages that you want to tell them when you put some of the dialogue in the Kickstarter?
Are you talking about like in between the page, the
Yep.
images? Yeah. So
Yeah.
the
I don't know if
start.
you can see my arrow going around it.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Okay, bad.
Yeah. So my goal is I want to let people know where this story came from. So I
Mhm.
think if I'm correct, I started talking about at the very top of the Kickstarter summary page where the actual story came from.
Yes.
It's like 7 years in the making. It took me 7 years to get this story written, edited, rewritten, drawn, lettered, colored, all that. 7 years. So I want you to know that I put work in to make this happen. And then from there, I want you to know about the story. So for me, I want you to know about me. I want you to know about where the story came from. And then I want you to know about actually where the story came from, and where it's potentially going to go as you're looking through this.
Okay. Cool. And also, so with this Kickstarter, is this your most successful Kickstarter?
No, it's the quickest successful Kickstarter. I believe this got fully funded within like the first 10 days.
Okay.
Um, and then it slowly got um, overfunded after 15 days. So, yeah, it's the quickest funded, but it's not the most successful. The most successful as of now. So, as of now,
As of now, I like that. As of now.
the most successful is still the Charger from last year, which ended up getting over 1,000.
Well, I mean, you still got 12 days to go and you close.
We're looking good. So we'll see.
That's good. So, one thing I think me and you were talking about on Threads was promotion while you're on Kickstarter.
Mhm.
So, what is one of the things that you, before going into the Kickstarter, that you had planned? I know you said you want to post at least once a day. What's something that you had planned for the whole duration of the Kickstarter that you wanted to do to help you, continue to push it? Because 30 days is a long day to be promoting one thing. You feel me?
It
So,
is extremely long.
what were your plans to kind of push this throughout the campaign?
So I don't know if you did this with your Kickstarters, but I've been working on this Kickstarter for Nighthawk since September of 2025.
Mhm.
That's when I first started getting some of the like images put together for a promo that I wanted to do. So the first thing I wanted to do was I broke up the Kickstarter campaign into weeks since it's 30 days, 4 weeks and 30 days. Every week, I wanted to not only have something new that I send out to people, but also wanted to have a new update, and then I wanted to have um, a specific image, whether it be a panel or a page from Nighthawk that I was going to use as promo for the Kickstarter. And the biggest thing that I was going to do with this Kickstarter that I didn't do with the Charger Kickstarter was I was going to try to get on more podcasts.
Right. Which
So
you're here now.
this is my fourth podcast, I think, for Nighthawk. And then my last one, that's actually, or my last, yeah, it's probably my last one that I'll be doing for it. But yeah, so getting promotional images specifically from the book that I could use, and then having something new every week, and more podcasts. Those are the big three things I wanted to do for this Kickstarter.
Okay. And it seems like it's helping out. So that's what's up.
It's been nice.
So is how how exhausting is running a Kickstarter? Talk about that. People need to hear about it because people don't understand that sometimes like it's hair pulling, it's exhausting. Like talk about it. Talk about the ails of doing Kickstarters.
Man, I almost made a post on Threads earlier today saying that once this Kickstarter is done, I am taking 2 months off of social media because this is draining. Because it's like not so people think that being on social media and trying to promote your Kickstarter is always just saying, hey, here's my Kickstarter.
No.
And that's a good part of it. But literally it's just being visible. You have to be visible. Because oftentimes people on social media, especially on like, this is what I think most people loved about Twitter, is that you could be on Twitter and you'll be talking to people just about anything. And then somebody will just click on your profile and they'll see, oh, he has this pinned tweet. Let me check this out. Next thing you know, you got a new backer. Well, same thing with Threads. Same thing with Facebook. Like you can be on social media and talking to someone about anything. Like talking about football is one of the things I love doing, especially during the off season. So we're talking about football. We find out we have something in common. Next thing you know, someone makes a random comic book or anime reference, and it's like, oh yeah, I get that reference. They check your profile out. They add you as a friend, and so you know they're looking at your profile and like, oh snap, this person like creates comics. Let me check it out. They see you know you got a new backer. That's just the bare minimum. I mean, you didn't have to do any promo. It was just you having a conversation. But that's like maybe an hour of your time that you just spent looking at your screen or interacting with someone. And as a heavy introvert, that is exhausting. So yeah, after this Nighthawk Kickstarter, I think I'm definitely going to take, probably not immediately because I got to keep people up to date on where everything is. But once the books get shipped out and everyone has received their books, I'm going to take about a month or so off, which is perfect because around that time I'll be in Baltimore for Comic-Con. So it works out.
You going to Baltimore Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Dang, I want to go to Baltimore. I'll be at another con that Saturday at RastuCon, but I definitely wanted to go to Baltimore Comic-Con. I'm gonna try to go next year. That's gonna be on my bucket list for next year.
Yeah, Baltimore is becoming my that's my con. That's the one I'm going to every year for sure. So that's the one I'm going to table at. I'm hoping I can table at BlurredCon next year, but
no, you will table at BlurredCon next year. You will table at BlurredCon next year.
We'll see. They got to accept my application this time.
They will accept your application.
I like that.
Speaking that into existence.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, Gary, I'm not gonna question you all. I got a couple more questions for you. This is I love these conversations. This ran over longer than I wanted it to, but I love these conversations. So
too, man.
I got a couple more questions for you.
Right.
One of my biggest questions I wanted to ask you, what do you like about Kickstarter, and what are some of the things you will want to change?
So one thing I like about Kickstarter is how it keeps for the most part, it keeps creators honest. So with
Mhm.
platforms like Indiegogo, they immediately take the funds from the person, and I don't know if like that goes directly to the creator or not, or what how that works. But like to me, that kind of doesn't make it to where like the person has to stay, the creator has to be honest about what they're doing. With
Mm.
Kickstarter, you have to wait at least what, a week and a half until you get those funds.
Yep, it's about two
So
weeks. Yep.
yeah, so it's like the creator, yeah, they say the creator isn't necessarily required to give you your rewards, whatever, but at the end of the day, if they take the money and then they don't fulfill it, you can get your money back pretty easily. So I like that. There's a couple things I don't like about Kickstarter though.
Okay. Go into them. Go into them.
So I'm gonna say one on the creator side and then one on the consumer side.
Ooh, I like it.
So on the creator side, I don't like how we don't have a specific app for being able to monitor and check our campaign. I had to create a bookmark basically on my phone so that I could then access the website, and then I have to sign in every time to do it. I don't
Hold on,
like.
hold on. You don't got the app? You don't got the Kickstarter app on your phone?
I have the Kickstarter app, and I can manage my what I've backed on the Kickstarter app.
Oh, right. You can't. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't actually manage your. You got to go into
The web.
the desktop joint,
Yep.
and then yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah,
I would definitely change that. That's one. I want to send them something, but I don't know how to like communicate to them. I've seen they have a contact us thing, but
they do. Some people on. I've seen people on Twitter contact the guy. If I can figure it out, I'll send it to you. If I find who they contact to, he actually replies right back on Twitter. So
oh, nice.
yeah, I'll send that to you.
Bet I appreciate it. Um, but then on the consumer side, the thing that I would change is just I don't like, specifically when it comes to the consumer side, how the campaigns, or I guess this is not even necessarily a Kickstarter thing, but like how the campaigns don't like, they don't put a requirement on creators to keep people up to date. And
Mhm.
so I've been a part of a few campaigns where like the creator fully funded, everything went through fine, and then they stopped communicating, just completely stopped communicating, and
Yeah.
don't hear anything for like months at a time, and then they come back, hey, so we've had some issues with the art, or we've had some issues with printing, or this, that, and the third, so it's going to be a while on getting you your rewards. I was like, okay, cool. Why couldn't you like send some type of communication in the middle of that? So thinking on it, that's not necessarily much of a Kickstarter thing, but I think,
A creator is more of a on the creator side.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think if they made some type of requirement where like if you don't send an update after receiving payments or whatever for fulfillment, especially if you are at like a certain percentage of fulfillment, then you get docked something or you get some type of punishment or whatever. I think that would be beneficial, because I don't think it's fair to like have people have their hard-earned money go out and then not hear anything back for months at a time.
Right. I definitely get that. So just a little bit more communication, like
Right.
force the communication, force the creators of these projects to communicate with the people that supported them.
Exactly. I mean, you just got to be accountable to some degree, because at the end of the day, like these people, especially with the way the economy is now, like people aren't just able to dish out money with no regard
Right.
anymore.
Exactly. And if they're putting their money to support you, you then that means a lot. And I feel the same way as a creator on the creator side. That's one thing. That's what like being on Instagram and stuff like that. The videos aren't just all about promotion, it's to build trust with people. So you see me, so like if like I tell people like, okay, yeah, I got this printed, we're ready to print this. And yeah, I send updates too. But I think I agree with that. Us creators definitely need to communicate with these people, because these people are backing your project, backing your dream, and then spending their hard-earned money to do that. I think it's kind of the bare minimum to like at least let the people know what's going on, at least show them. And even if you don't have to give a update every week, every month. Like for me, as long as I know that you're working on a project and like you're giving updates, sharing, like for me, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm
So
saying.
I definitely agree with that. I think for me, to answer my own question with you, I think that with you talking about the app, bruh,
Yeah.
it made me think about the fact that I hate because when we got a campaign, we always checking the campaign. So on the app, I can't easily just go to my campaign. I have to search my campaign
Yep.
to go to my campaign. So like each time, and I gotta retype it in every time. I go to Kickstarter, type in like I'll type like I got thema coming out. I'll type in thema this and then go to the page to see how many pre-launch backers I got. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Me
I
too.
wish there was somewhere on the app I can just go straight to it. Like
Yeah.
that would be so much easier.
Now the only problem with that, because I feel like you're like me, you would be glued to that screen. You would go
Yeah.
there like every hour.
I do. I
So-
see. I do it with the search. I will retype every. I will have in my clipboard. I will save the paste of thema so I can just paste it right in there and then bring it right up.
Yeah, same. So like, I mean, it got so bad with Nighthawk that I literally took so what I did whenever I created the Nighthawk Kickstarter, I took the pre-launch page URL, saved it to a note on my phone. So all I have to do is just click on it. And it takes me automatically to the Kickstarter page in my app. So I could see it every time that way. But I like also seeing more of the detailed analytics. So if they had a way that you could see that information in
From
the
your
app,
app on your phone.
that'd be perfect.
And see, that was going to be one of the things I say I like about Kickstarter was the analytics. Like it would be much greater if you got it on your phone, but to see where people coming from, to see what people got and all like especially when it tells you one thing I'm always looking at for Kickstarter is the rewards. What is getting bought, what is not getting bought, especially for when I have to order it. Because sometimes I do like to put in some orders before. If I have the comic done, I would like to put in orders before the Kickstarter ends, especially if I already reach goal and I know I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
So I like try to put orders in to get the books. So if like I see, okay, I'm gonna need at least about 50 of these, I'm gonna get those off jump. So then I can start shipping them out. And that's one things I love. And the fact that people don't notice about Kickstarter, there's a fan base already on Kickstarter. There's people like also with the analytics, they'll tell you people that are like super backers, people that are just random people that just backed maybe this one project. So if you check that, sometimes there's times where I get a lot of super backers that people that are already on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing I love is that they're already an audience there that you can kind of tap into that you may not even know about.
That is true. Yeah. I like that part too.
Yeah. So my last question for you, because like I said, I'm not gonna question you out. This one isn't about the Kickstarter, it's more so just about you. With Divergent Comics, what is the story that you're trying to tell? Whether it be, just to be entertainment, whether it be, representation, what is the overall story that you're trying to tell?
This is a good question. So I was on the Vigilante Vibes podcast early in the campaign, and she asked like, "What's the goal?" or like, "What do I have planned?" And I kind of gave a little bit of a snippet of the goal of Divergent Comics, and I want to essentially each of the stories, each character has their own theme that they're discovering.
Okay.
Each theme is tied into either the main character and or the main villain of the story. And so with all of that, eventually these characters are going to meet. They're all going to have to face a big bad, and the big bad has his own story. So the story that I'm trying to tell with Divergent Comics in general is more so an entertaining story about representation. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, he just wants to write black comics." Like, no, that's not the goal. Because I want to take a story like Nighthawk, where you have fraternal twins working together, or forced to work together, really. And that's something that there's not a lot of people that are fraternal twins, especially not brother sister fraternal twins. So
Right.
there's no representation in that aspect. And the story that with Nighthawk specifically is about um, corruption and power, which is something that everyone can relate to because you see corruption and power all over the place
every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
So it's like that's the story I'm trying to tell. Is like I'm taking specific things that people see in the real world, and I want them to be able to relate to those themes and see an entertaining way of resolving those themes. And that's my goal.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. That is dope. So it's not just about the representation, is not just about being black. Of course, that's in there, but the reputation is more about, you know, the whole world of reputation. Like you said, the fraternal twins representing that. That is more than just being a black comics. It's more about just reputation as a whole.
Yeah, it's for me, representation is about connecting with people on a personal level rather than just a superficial level. Anyone can write a comic with black people in it. I mean, I think
There's a lot of people that do that aren't even black.
Exactly. Like I think anybody can do that. But to take a situation that a lot of people may actually be a part of, such as having to deal with human trafficking, or like with Charger, her story dealt with or deals with having to live up to a legacy of someone that you admire. Like a lot of people can relate to those type of themes and those type of stories. And those are the things that I want people to relate to. That's the representation I'm trying to aim for.
Okay, I like that. Well, Gary, this has been a dope interview. I
I
really want
appreciate
to
it.
thank you. Yeah, I want to thank you for coming on. This has been my first actual interview in a minute for real. So thank you. And
Nice.
I'm gonna get back into doing these more. So thank you for helping me wipe off the cobwebs. You feel me?
Well, I appreciate you for asking me to come on and allowing me to kind of talk about myself and my project for a little bit. It's
Yeah.
been fun.
Definitely. And so, Gary, so one thing I want to do with this, since your Kickstarter is running now and you're funded and everything's going well with it, I want to bring you back on after you ship out the books. Actually, matter of fact, after I get my copy. After I get my copy, I would love to have you back on and kind of us dive into the book itself, because I feel like you can talk about it more once the book is actually out, you know.
Definitely.
So I definitely want to have you back on to talk about the book and also to talk about the post Kickstarter, like things that go on with that.
Okay.
So if you want to, would you be down for that?
Oh yeah, definitely. It'll be just before I go into my little social media break, so it'll work out.
That's what I was gonna say. Like before you go on to the break, you know, this could be like your parting ways, be like after the interview, and be like, all right, y'all, peace. I'm not talking to nobody.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Gary, once again for coming on. Everybody that is watching this, Gary's Kickstarter is running right now. The link will be in the description for the Kickstarter, so definitely hit that link, go to his Kickstarter, back it, you feel me, and help this indie creator, you know, have their dreams come true. Because we're in this era of supporting indie. There's a lot of people really talking about supporting indie. So let's put our money where our mouth is and definitely help Gary out and help Divergent Comics out. So I would like to thank y'all for watching another episode of Yo Nerd. I will be back again. Next time you see me, I'll probably be talking to a camera again. But hopefully, maybe I'll have a guest on. Who knows? But thank y'all for watching another episode of Yo Nerd.